Hey, what's going on, everybody? Today's episode, I want to talk about smart lights. Smart lights seems to be a really hot topic for a lot of people. I think Phillips Hue really has brought this into the forefront for the average person, but it's not the only option out there for smart lights at all. And honestly, I think from a smart lights perspective, for most people, not the best option. So I just want to talk a little bit about that, talk about how all of these different things work a bit, and hopefully this helps point you in the right direction on how to think about smart lights for your house moving into the future. So if I look down a little bit, it's because I made a quick like outline of what I want to talk about, and really just kind of start with it. The main things that I want to talk about is the different categories of smart lighting. So there's switches, there's panels, and then there's bulbs. So obviously Philips Hue fits into the bulbs area, and I guess I'll start there. So in terms of smart bulbs, the cool things about them is that they do, all of the different colors, right? You can have RGB. There's circadian rhythm bulbs out there. You can get really the control of the light is the cool thing, and the fact that you can connect them to your phone is something that people hadn't seen before. The challenge with the bulbs that people don't think of is that you have to turn the switch on. So the switch either has to always be on for you to be able to control the bulb, or every time you want to control the bulb, you have to go turn the switch on, then control the bulb. From my perspective, that kind of defeats a lot of the purpose of smart lights, right? If I have to go turn on the bulb every time, if I have to go turn the switch on every time I want to use the smartness of it, it loses some of the impact there. Which is why I think 80% of people, 90% of people who want to do smart lights, doing smart switches are probably a better option for them, because what that's going to give you the ability to do is have a lot more control over the lighting scenarios, right? So whether you're sitting on the couch outside of your house, here's an example. You're walking out of your house. You realize you left the lights on in your master bedroom, which may be up the stairs, down the hall, etc. Instead of having to go back upstairs and switch off that light, with smart switches, you can just either go on your phone and press off, or you can have at your door an all off button and press that, and it cuts off all the lights within your house. That's something that you can't do with bulbs. If you combine smart switches and smart bulbs, you can then have more control from anywhere in the world or from your couch, so that you can turn on the switch and control the colors. I'm partial to Savant in regards to that. I think they do a good job of combining the two, right? That you can turn on the lights and then have a pinwheel to control the colors. And I'll see if I can insert that in here so you guys can see exactly how that works. Actually, here I have. So this is the Savant light bulb, and then you can really just go along the phone and kind of pick which colors you want the bulb to be after you cut it on, which you can also do from your phone. So because if you have a switch there, which I think is really nice. And with the Savant ones, you can add that to scenes, so it can be like a one button press, lights come on as purple instead of regular. You can also set them to different lighting colors based on the time of day, so you can have a daylight one, an evening one, a nighttime, night light setting, and different things like that. And then the last one is panelized lighting, and panelized lighting is it's something that needs to be done before you close up the walls in your house. These other two options can be done retrofit, right? So with switches, all you have to do is take out the old switch, put in the new switch, and then you can connect them to the internet, etc., and allow yourself to control that. With panelized lighting, all that wiring needs to be done prior to. So all of the controls are run back to a centralized lighting panel that then enables you to control that through your phone. The benefit of panelized lighting over smart switches or bulbs is that with panelized lighting, you're able to have a lot of different form factors, within your lights. So you can, which is really one of the big ones. So instead of like a 6-gang light switch, and I don't have any light switches here, but instead of having like, light switch 1 for over the island, light switch 2 for the, recessed light switch 3 for the under cabinet lights, light switch 4, et cetera, et cetera. You make, cause some kitchens, like especially in a larger kitchen, you can have 6 light switches. With a panel, you can just have like 1 light switch that has 3, 4, 5 different buttons that you can control all 6 of those different lighting gangs from one central point. So if you have the option, I really recommend looking at panelized lighting. It can get more expensive, a lot more expensive actually sometimes than like switches or bulbs, but definitely interesting in larger homes and places that you're going to have, large gangs of lights. They can be mixed and matched as well, so you don't always have to have just all panelized. You can kind of mix and match that kind of stuff, and so yeah, those are the big things. So in terms of panelized, it's usually Lutron, Crestron, Vantage. Those are the big names in that. The switches, there's a ton out there now. Ones that people have probably heard of are like WeMo. Lutron is really our go-to. I think they're the best in the business at this. Savant has their own switches as well, which I think work really well if you're doing like the Savant bulbs as an option also. The cool thing, what I like about Lutrons is like, so they do connect to the internet, so you can control them from anywhere in the world, but they also have their own signaling inside over RF, so that they're always, the communication's not going over your Wi-Fi, so they're not taking up that bandwidth, which I talk about in other episodes of this in regards to how Wi-Fi works. So that's really important. And then from the bulbs perspective, yeah, it's really Phillips Hue is the big name, and then like I said, Savant also does theirs as well. A few other like interesting things to think about from a lighting perspective is smart light strips. Again, kind of like the bulbs, right? You need to have that power cut on if you're not using like a smart switch with it. So Savant makes a smart light strip that will work with the switches and things like that, which is interesting. But I think Philips Hue also makes a smart light strip. But again, you just need to turn on the switch if you want them to work. But it's nice to be able to change the colors and things like that. If you're having a party, if you want to put it behind your TV, the smart light strips are really cool. In movie theaters, really cool. We do a lot of that for theaters that we do. So those are another interesting idea. And then the last thing is something that's becoming more and more popular now is circadian rhythm lighting. So that there's a few different companies that are doing it, but one that we've been doing a lot of, that we've been investing a lot of time into and learning about is USAI lighting, which is really interesting. So they are recessed lights, so they go recessed in your ceiling, and the way the circadian rhythm lighting works is if you cut on your light in the morning, the light is more blue, right? So think about your iPhone screen. Some people know about this, some people don't, that you can cut off the blue light within your iPhone. So in the morning, it has more blue to give you more energy so that it helps I think it's dissipate like the melatonin in your body or something like that. No scientist, but essentially it helps give you more energy. And then later in the day, the blue light kind of goes down. Like after like 3-4 o'clock, so that it helps your body go to sleep later in the day. So it helps increase melatonin, it helps enable your body to produce melatonin so that you can sleep at night rather than having blue light in your face all the time. Like I have it always set up with my iPhone. I have it set up with my Mac so that I don't have these problems. And I know a lot of people do, right? So Mac doesn't have it natively. iPhone does have it natively. And this is becoming a bigger thing, right? Blue light not being great for you as a human. So we're now seeing that being built into homes, and I think it's a really interesting trend, and I'm looking forward to it. So that's all I want to talk to you guys about today. Smart lighting, the ins and outs of it. So starting with switches, panels, bulbs. I think that's the most most people's minds. But then you can also think about smart lighting strips, and then also circadian rhythm lighting, which I think is going to be big as time goes on. So I hope this helps you guys, and I'll talk to you soon. Peace.